Not a great idea.
computer,
Yep.
then let me set one up.
Excellent.
That'll be independent of the roster that we've got going for others.
Excellent.
So pick a number. Conservatively, do you want to do 128?
Yeah, I think 128 is a good
Okay.
number.
Okay. So I'll sort of disappear from the conversation for a sec while I instantiate.
Cool. Not a
I
problem.
just got in here.
All right, I'm just going to stop share so that I can see everyone again. So were there any other questions about the installation side of things, or is everyone pretty much set up with those two packages? Or
Actually, never mind. Yep, never mind.
oh, good. Awesome.
My internet's so bad, and I've tried the other two before with Lori and David, and
Right.
I didn't even bother to download this one because I knew it takes more. So I've got to go back and go to another room.
All good. So in that case, wait, sorry, was someone saying something?
That was me. I did install them. I'm just trying to find where my computer put them so I can start them. So, but I guess you start by opening Jacktrip. Is that the
You start by opening QJack control. So are you on Mac or Windows?
Windows? So
Windows.
Q control. Okay.
Yep. So in fact, if you just start typing QJack control in the
I got
Windows Start menu, it should appear.
Yeah, I got a control box now. Yeah.
Awesome. So often what will happen, I'll go back to sharing my screen now that I don't need to see everyone's faces. And share the right desktop. So the thing that you'll see when you run QJack control will be this window up here. And so if you're in doubt later, this sort of little walkthrough guide will tell you a bit about how to set up each of these things in each step of the way. Once you've run QJack control for the first time and set everything up, Jacktrip itself should actually automatically start Jack if it's not running. So often you'll find you won't need to run QJack control, but it's really handy to have open and available, especially because you can do things like, as see the graph here, which will show you. So this is a much more complicated situation than most of you will have. You'll generally have system playback. So this is to your computer speakers, and there'll usually be system capture. So this is the system's microphone. Generally, you want those plugged into the QJacktrip object that'll appear, and you'll want them going out to the speakers, and that automatically happens for you. But it's good to be able to see this to troubleshoot things. So when you first run QJack control, I said the first thing you want to do is go into setup. Hopefully your version is similar to this. So the version that came with some of the older versions of Jack are a bit out of date, and the interface looks a bit different in here. But these are the three important numbers, really. So sample rate, you'll need to make sure it's at. I usually use 48,000. 44,100 is the other common option. So these will give you both sort of CD quality audio. 48,000 tends to work a little better for some USB devices, so often it's a slightly better pick. Frames per period, which you can see if I alter this, it adjusts the latency down here. So the lower you can push this, the lower the latency is. A lot of sound cards won't really like some of these very low values here, and you'll start to see all sorts of. So this will show you when dropouts happen up here. You can see mine's fairly stable. There's not many dropouts happening. They're few and far between. The more you push this down, the more likely you'll experience dropouts happening. The important thing is that this number, the sample rate, has to be the same between every machine that you're connecting up. It used to be that frames per period, the buffer size also had to be the same, but thanks to some code additions by Anton Runov with the jitter buffer, you don't need to worry so much about this value. In fact, the best thing to do is just set it as low as possible for your hardware. So the thing that I would suggest is just playing around with this, trying to set it lower and lower and seeing if you're getting a lot of dropouts here. So I'm just going to get out of that. Just got those changes.
So how do we tell if there's dropouts?
So see these little red numbers here?
Oh, they just show up in red?
Yeah, so this is, so there's been like one, either an buffer underrun or overrun in the whole time that I've been talking.
Okay.
And in fact, under messages, you can see that there's your X run just stands for underrun or overrun count. So that's when either a buffer is not being emptied fast enough or is filling up too fast.
Okay.
So yeah, if you see that number going up, steadily and constantly, you know that you need to go back to here and make this bigger. And I said it shows you what latency that will introduce. Let's just cancel it. So once you've got that set up, you can just hit play, and then the Jack server is up and running. From there, then it's just a matter of running Jacktrip. So once again, that'll appear in your start menu or in your applications folder or launchpad screen on the Mac. And if you run that, it should bring up, I think the default mode is the peer-to-peer client. What we're going to want to use to connect to the Stanford machine at the moment is the hub client option. Just to go through, so most of the things that you need to enter will be on the basic options tab. But I'll just take people through and I'll just quickly, so this is the server that we'll be connecting to.
Can you make the screen a little bit larger because it's a very small print? Is there any way to
It's CMN9 at Stanford?
Yep, cmn9.stanford.edu. I don't think there is an easy way to do that. You might be able to enter full screen mode on your end. That might help. If
hey,
you're not already...
Aaron, there's a really cool trick if you're in, that's a Linux desktop?
Yep.
Okay, and if it's anything like mine, you hold the Alt button and then you use the mouse.
Yeah, potentially. It might be. No, nope. Oops. No, that's not quite doing it. I know there is a Zoom. I don't think I've got it set up on this machine. And it'll probably take me a bit of.
That's okay. It's cmn9.stanford.edu, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that something we would use as well, or we would use the P2P, or what?
This is something you'd use as well. This is just for testing here today.
Oh, okay, but not if we wanted to use this after today, we wouldn't go there, right?
Once again, it depends how you're connecting. So if you're connecting through one of the publicly available servers, like the ones offered by the Virtual Studio, then you would use the hub client mode. If you were doing just peer-to-peer stuff, then excuse me, all you have to do is make sure that one end is the peer-to-peer client and the other end is the peer-to-peer server. For the person who's set up as the client, they'll need to enter the address here, and the address that they would enter, so as I said, this is showing my current address. So if I was running the server, I would give this to any of the clients that wanted to connect, and they would enter it on their end. As I said, to run a server, there are some issues that you have to be aware of in terms of port forwarding and things on the router, which gets a little bit complicated, but I can cover that, any questions about that a bit later on. For the moment though, as I said, in hub client mode connected to this Stanford server, if I just enter that, have it in hub client mode and hit connect, you'll see it's waiting for peer. It received a connection, and now I'm getting UDP waiting too long messages. As I said, that's largely because I'm on the other side of the world and there's a lot of routing happening between here and the US. But effectively, you can see if I just go to graph, it's appeared here. This is it, cmn9.stanford.edu. My mic, actually that's the wrong capture device. But if I do this, my
Ouch.
USB. Oh, you can hear me? Yeah. I'm probably coming in hot. Yeah, so that's my microphone is being, and as you can hear, Chris can hear me
Yeah,
connected as well.
and it's a wonderful demonstration of how much faster this system is versus Zoom, because I'm hearing two of you, and the arrival difference has got to be 300 milliseconds or something.
Wow. Yeah. I've even found, like, testing with colleagues, I've been on the phone with them and have connected to Jacktrip, and the difference in latency between just the standard phone service and Jacktrip is quite huge as well. But as you can see, that's me connected there. I'm just going to disconnect so I can go back to, and you'll see that's disappeared now, just to show you some of the more advanced options you can use as well. Yeah, if after 10 seconds if you don't get any packets, you can set this to just automatically disconnect. The advanced options are things like your local port and remote port. You'll only need to change them if the server on the other end is using different settings than the default. And a lot of these here are sort of for changing quality, and for the most part, most people won't need to change them. The really useful thing though here is the jitter buffer. It's enabled by default, which is good, but you can also use it to automatically set the queue length. So a lot of these settings here that you would normally have to manually tweak, you can use this to automatically set the buffer size so that it drops no more than 1 in every 500 packets. So if I wanted to optimize for quality, I could up this number a lot, and then it would really ramp this. You can see this auto queue value here is at 51 at the moment, or was when I was connected. So the lower the number here, the lower the latency will be. The higher the number here, the higher the quality will be. So it's a very easy way to let the program decide how big a buffer to create to balance between latency and quality. The other useful thing as well for the end user is this plugins section here. So these are a whole bunch of plugins that have been added by Julius Smith, and you can basically add a bit of reverb either on the incoming sound or the outgoing sound. You can add a compressor. You can add a limiter. By default, it's 2 clients. So if you know you're going to be connecting to a server with 100 clients, you can enter that, and it'll keep everyone's volume down so that we don't have a whole bunch of peaks. So the audio, when summed together, won't ever clip. So that's a really useful setting as well. Especially if you're joining a big server, and you have a rough idea of the number of people who are likely to be in a rehearsal. So that's the limiter function there. I said once again add a compressor both to the incoming or outgoing, and if you want a little bit of reverb, there's either Freeverb or Zeta Rev. You can add both. It would probably be a bit pointless having 2 reverbs in the chain, but it is possible. But yeah, that's basically sort of the walkthrough of it in terms of getting connected to a public server. And if people want to give that a try on your own machines, I said that server there, cmn9.stanford.edu is the address to type in. I'm just gonna stop sharing so that I can actually see people's faces. Are there any questions about any of that process so far? Yep. Barbara and Nadine, was there a question? You're currently muted, by the way.
Yeah, I think we're unmuted. We got a message that said can't run Jack, or that Jack
Can't run
won't
Jack.
run. I forgot whichever message, but it says it won't run.
It also
Okay.
says,
Wait,
Oh, nope, now you're muted again.
it says error, maybe Jack server not running? Question
Okay,
mark.
do you want to, maybe, I think the easiest thing possibly is to just share your screen. Actually, are you able to share screen, or is that something that only the host can do? Yes, you can share screen. Awesome. If you can share the entire, do you have QJack control running as well? Oh, and now you're muted again. Keeps muting you for some reason. Maybe I can unmute you. Oh, no.
Okay, now we're unmuted. I've never shared my screen before.
Okay, that's so.
Okay,
If you go to
here I
go
go.
back, excellent. If you just choose the whole desktop on the share screen option.
Yep. Okay, so we have this little
And
guy
then just-
here.
Yep.
And when I click start, is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yep.
It says this.
This is just. Can you just hit the about button?
Mm-hmm. Maybe we
Okay, so
downloaded
this
the
is a
wrong
really-
version.
Yeah, this is the older version. That's okay. So it means basically I updated my site recently-ish. There's a new version of Jack that came out, and yeah, so I had to recompile QJack control to work with the new version of Jack, which has now been done. But it looks like you've got the old version. What?
Okay.
Yeah, the easy way.
I
there's
could
no easy way
go
around that.
download it real quick,
Just-
maybe.
Yeah, just before
Yep.
you do, if you go to applications in the Jack folder of the applications, there hopefully should be an uninstall script for Jack.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think. Yeah, just make sure you run that first, because
44.1.
if you have any hint of the old Jack lying around, it causes things not to run properly.
I know.
It's
We
really
just
problematic.
installed it yesterday, though. I'm surprised because we just installed it from the website yesterday.
I think it might
Yesterday.
have been the wrong. I think we might have gotten to the link in a different way.
So I don't know how we could have
okay.
gotten an older version, but I guess we did.
That's all good. But
Let's see.
Jacktrip was so it means you'll probably have to install both packages, because if Jacktrip was running, then it's the old version of both. So the old version of Jacktrip runs with the old version of Jack, and the new version of Jacktrip runs with the new version of Jack.
That
So
makes
if there's any, if for some reason you've got Jack installed and Jacktrip just dies and then gives an error message saying it's not built for this machine, then it's a version mismatch between Jack and Jacktrip.
I have one quick question. On the uninstall, it's a command.
Yeah,
Document-
that should. Yep.
It needs
so
a
that
password.
it'll just
Is
need.
that
You'll
the
just need to enter your user
computer?
password.
Our computer password, you know what it is.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just because
Oh,
it needs
cool.
it needs elevated, permissions to delete things.
Aaron,
We're
I'm
gonna disappear while we.
Awesome.
Aaron, I'm trying to connect to
Yep.
your Stanford, and
Yep.
I clicked on connect. First, it said I had a mismatch with the 48,000 versus 44.1, so I fixed that. But
Yep.
now I
Yep.
click connect, and it just keeps saying waiting for peer.
That's not a good sign. Maybe if you could just share your screen. I'll
Uh,
try and.
Okay. Where's is this mine? I think that's the one. Okay. Yeah, this is what I'm at. You can see my screen.
Okay. Yep.
And just
I
down
just
here
can't
it
see-
says waiting for peer. Now I don't know if
Alright.
that's because I didn't close this before I went back and reopened QJack control. I just when I tried to do this, it said that I was at 44.1 and you were 48,000. So
Doesn't.
I just opened QJack control and changed that and then minimized it. So I don't know if I needed to close this first or what.
No, that should all be working fine then.
Okay.
The bigger problem, so the problem with the waiting for peer is that it means that it's not getting network traffic back from the server, and sometimes that can be a firewall issue.
Oh.
Windows is sometimes a bit funny with firewall settings. Are you running any like third-party firewalls, or is it just the Windows built-in firewall? Or...
No, I do run a. Well, I don't know if it's a firewall. I run a virus.
a security
program.
suite,
Yeah.
potentially.
Let's see if this is going to tell me over here. Oh, ESET.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. Once again, maybe if you can share your entire screen, so just choose the desktop view.
I'm sorry. I think I am sharing my entire screen. No.
No, it's just sharing the Jacktrip window.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Let me go back here. I guess I have to stop sharing.
Yep.
Share screen.
And just to answer Jonathan's question, you'll need to have installed the Jacktrip server as well. So if I just, actually I was about to say I'll quickly share my screen, but I'll do that in just a second. It's once again, it's at the link above. I'll just resend it. It's at that link there, and if you go to the installation section, you should find the Jacktrip server package. Okay, so if you go to your firewall your internet security settings.
You know, I don't want to take up a lot of time here.
Oh, that's okay.
Just a personal issue. Other people may have, you know, more general stuff.
Oh no, that's fine. I think, yeah, there's probably a lot of people who might get stung by this sort of firewall issue. So if you just hit OK, got it, and it's just a, and then maybe under setup, hopefully it will, and then internet protection, or either internet protection or network protection. Maybe try network protection.
Firewall enabled.
That's filtering of incoming and outgoing traffic. Just go to the little gear icon next to it. Yeah.
And then pause it.
Yeah, just hit pause for the moment, which should show us if it's a firewall option. And then what I can show you is how to enable Jacktrip traffic, so that you don't have to disable your firewall entirely to do it. But if you just go back to the Jacktrip window now, and just go to, just hit the disconnect button. And now just try and connect again. Let's see if that's done it.
Okay, I saw that as a connection attempt.
Right. So what's that means then is that traffic is coming through to the server, but somehow, for some reason, it's not coming back to your computer. The only other thing that I could think of is if there's some sort of weird firewall setting in your router.
Yeah, we often find there's an interference with the way that Windows handles the file and printer sharing. So, and you know, not being a Windows guy, I think I remember that it was an adjustment where you disable printer sharing.
Yeah, that usually brings up a connection issue though, like with screwy settings.
Yeah,
so
you would get a different.
Yeah, so this looks like traffic is going one way but not the other.
Not the other way. Yeah, you're right.
And it could be, once again, it could be an issue with the router. I might leave that one there for the moment, and maybe might have to arrange like a one-on-one thing at some stage.
All right, thank you.
Yes, so just to answer your question as well, Amy, in the chat, I might just put on my, I will put my email in the chat. Feel free to get in touch with me if you need additional help at any other stage.
And let's see, I did get a connection attempt from someone just now trying to connect with 44,100 sample rate instead of 48,000. So they do need to match, and the server's running at 48,000.
Yeah, so I'm just going to. Oh, okay. You did already install it, but you don't see it in applications. Got it. So in that case, so if that's the case, wait. So Jonathan, again, where are you? Could visit another backup. All good, Jim. And no problem. Yes, Jonathan, you said you can't see it anywhere. Are you on, once again, are you on Windows or on Mac? Oh, and I don't have any audio from you. I'm not hearing you. I can hear you now. Excellent.
Okay. So maybe I just don't have the right. Is it just Jack?
So it should be called QJack Control.
Well, QJack Control.
CTL.
Yeah, and it's
Yep.
not control spelled out. It's QJack CTL.
It's just CTL.
Okay, I have Jacktrip, but I don't see QJack Control.
Are you on Windows or Mac? Was
Mac.
The next. How long ago did you install it? I guess is the next question.
Just I think either now or yesterday.
Oh, either now. Okay.
I don't remember. I got all confused with all the different installations. So.
All good. All good. So if it's just very recently, then in the do you still have the installer packages there?
Probably.
If you go back to the Jack installer package,
okay,
because it would have come as a zip file,
okay,
or as a compressed archive.
Yeah, I got it's a tar.
.gz. Yep. So if you reopen that, there'll be the installer package, and then there's a little QJack control .app icon, and you just need to drag that into your applications.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's yeah. I did add a note on the all rooms momentarily to wrap up together. Okay, so let's get this quick. So yeah, so if you do install the Jack server on the Mac now, the package will just install Jack itself. You need to manually drag across the QJack control icon, otherwise it won't be there.
Okay, I got it.
The old installer used to install both.
Okay, so now I got it up.
So I apparently have been connected, but I have a question about.
Yep.
So when we get into a session, is there a way to control individual volumes and stuff like that for different people on it, or?
So
how do you actually use it once you're in?
Yeah, so at this point, the way we're doing it right now, it would be up to the individuals to, and we're about to get closed out here. So definitely contact me back and I can explain. Individuals would regulate their own volumes at this point. But with the virtual server stuff on Jacktrip Foundation, the virtual studio, there's a little more sophisticated way to do the mix and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I've been working on as well in the last 30 seconds. I've been working as well on creating a server with an inbuilt, a mixer attached and things like that. Right. So there's options to be able to do that in hub server mode. Otherwise, if you're doing peer-to-peer, it's just a matter of having some sort of mixer, either a hardware mixer or software mixer on your machine.
Yeah. Okay.